Tako, dragi ljudje, s tem smo prišli do konca nocojšnje prireditve. Lepo se imejte in lahko… Zdaj se hecam. Na oder bom povabil najprej our honored guest today, Goran Višnjić, a phenomenal Croatian American actor who has appeared in American and British film… Wait, please. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was telling you that. Okay, let me just finish the announcement. But you're too popular, man. Okay. So he's best known in the United States for his role as Dr. Luka Kovac in ER and Garcia Flynn in Timeless, both NBC television series. For ER, he and the cast were nominated for 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Ne vem, če veste, dragi ljudje, Goran je prej v intervjuju za Popin povedal, da je tudi sam zelo veliko delal z zemljo, pomagal svojemu očetu tudi pri kidanju gnoja, če se ne motim. Sem to prav slišal? Tako da, če kdo, je zagotovo eden od boljših oziroma bolj primernih celebritijev, ki je prišel sem, da nam preda to sporočilo. Gospe in gospodje, en lep aplauz za gospoda Gorana Višnjića. Give a round of applause and let me welcome you to the stage. Yes, and of course, the one and only, eden in edini, gospe in gospodje, en ogromen aplauz za Sadhguruja. Let me welcome to the stage also Sadhguru. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I leave you in the best of hands. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Huh? That's not me. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Kala na janati tava jananam, kala na janati tava samapanam, drushto maya tava mahakarah yogeshwara Kala Kala Yogeshwara Kala Kala. Namaskaram. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening, everybody. That was nice. Thank you. So, Sadhguru, I'm here on a stage with you. And normally…
I can see that.
Thank you. I'm the one who answers the questions, so it's kind of difficult for me. I'm gonna try to do a
Then I'll ask
good
the
job.
questions.
There you go. No, please. I'm prepared. Look, I have everything here. So I'm also a motorcycle enthusiast. And I know what does that mean to be sitting on a bike for a long time. So can you please tell me why? Why are you doing this? How did it start?
Wow. Why are we doing this right now, this ride?
No, why are you doing the ride? Yeah, why ride from London and spending all this time on a motorcycle and…
At the age of 65, 100 days on the motorcycle could kill you. Yes, it could. So, today is only the 9th day, I'm still doing good, huh? So, a lot of people are asking me, Sadhguru, why should you do this at this stage in your life? Yes, I need not do this for myself because I am who I am in the world, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Whether I can ride or not, everybody knows I can ride. So, why? See, the highest number of suicides in United States among all the professions are among farmers. Whole families shooting themselves because in the last 12 years, 50% of the farmers have not seen $1 of profit. Over 300,000 farmers in India commit suicide in the last 20 years. It is expected by 2032, 1.2 billion people will leave their homelands and move towards urban centers, 1.2 billion people. When people leave their homelands and move towards urban centers in a disorganized way, unplanned ways, because there's no food where they live, the suffering that they go through, the humiliations that they go through, particularly what happens to women and children when families migrate like this, is unspeakable. All this is happening. I've been talking about soil for the last 30 years in various ways. But everybody listens and everybody says, oh, this is great Sadhguru, you're doing great. Hey, it's not about me doing great, it needs to happen. We need to reverse this, otherwise we are eating up the soil and the food of the unborn child. In my emotion, eating up the food of the unborn child, for me, feels like a crime against humanity. I thought before I'm too old and no good for anything, I have to stick my life out and tell people this needs to happen. If you don't do it now, in the next 15, 20 years, if you don't turn this around, you will regret this seriously, every human being on the planet.
I've heard you said on one of the events in the past couple of months that this generation on the planet has so much power that we can reach each other, like the whole, almost 90% of people on this planet in like a matter of half an hour, through social media, through this, through that. So the power we have to do something about it, and also the precipice of what's happening with the ecology of the planet is the last second to do it. So we do have a power and we know that we have to do it. So how can we, can you enlighten us how to proceed? What else is there to be done? What can we do?
Just now, from my office, they sent me news that the last 1 week or so, 154 nations have been meeting in Switzerland to arrive at some kind of an agreement for preserving the biodiversity of the planet. And after 1 week of meeting, they disband without any agreement or without any progress. So it looks like we think there is endless amount of time. There is no endless amount of time, because the loss of biodiversity every year is approximately to the tune of 27,000 species per year are becoming extinct. At this level, in another 30 to 40 years' time, it'll become very hard to turn it around. As a generation, we have a challenge and a privilege that we could be that generation which turned back from the brink of a disaster. Or we could be that generation which slept through and fell over and then grieve about it later, whoever is left. So, this needs to happen now just to create that urgency is why I did this. People ask me, Sadhguru, you could drive a car, why are you riding? Oh, even if you drive somebody yesterday came and one journalist came, why are you not riding a bicycle? I said, you have a plan to kill me. They're asking, why are you not riding a bicycle, 30,000 kilometers? Well, there are some very perfect human beings in this world. They never make any mistakes because they never do anything in their lives.
So, may I ask you, with said something about my upbringing. Every weekend we would go to my grandpa's farm, and we actually worked on it. You know, it was a proper farm, and we spent a lot of time working, having fun also, driving tractors and all of that stuff. But I'm kind of a little bit into farming from that perspective. I was kind of there. I don't know how many farmers is in this audience, but can you just tell us a little bit about some practicalities of what can be done with the soil to replenish it, to make it as good as it used to be hundreds of years ago, maybe?
See, in that sense, Slovenia is well endowed, because one thing is, it's just a 3 million population, very large parts of the country covered with forests. Today afternoon I was speaking in another group, they said woods. I want to tell you this. This happened about 12, 13 years ago. You know, I come from a town called Mysore. Most of my childhood I spent there. Anybody familiar with Mysore city? Oh, okay. So, I was teaching all over the country at that time, but I avoided doing any events in Mysore so that when I go there, I could just meet my friends and family without being recognized. But that privilege went away after some time anyway, it was all over the place. So they demanded I must do a program, so I announced a 2-day event there. So I went and sat there, I looked around. From my kindergarten school, from that time, some of my friends, teachers from my school, from my high school, from my college, teachers, friends, all kinds of people that I knew, they all came to see what the hell has happened to him. 27 years I had not taught in Mysore. Then I decided to teach in Mysore. So as the event got over, my English teacher, who by then was in her 70s, she came and hugged me and she said, "Now I know why you wouldn't let me teach Robert Frost." I said, "Ma'am, why would I not let you teach Frost? I like Frost." She said, "Do you remember?" And then she reminded me. What happened was, till then we were reading English poetry, and she introduced American poetry, and she spoke about Robert Frost, how great a poet he is. Then she opened the book and said, "Woods are lovely, dark and deep." I said, "Stop." She said, "Why?" I said, "A man who calls a tree a wood, I'm not going to listen to that guy." She said, No, Frost is a great poet, I don't care who he is. A man who calls tree a wood, I'm not going to listen to that guy. This is like if I'm a tiger, I look at you and think, oh, here is dinner, all right? This is just crazy, because we are calling tree a wood. For us, it's just a product, it's not a living thing. This is our problem. This is the problem, why we have landed up where we are. We have forgotten that soil is the greatest and the most complex and sophisticated living system, not on just the planet, in the universe. It is not just on this planet, in this universe, in the known universe, we do not know anything like the topsoil of this planet. That's how complex and sophisticated it is. And it is fantastic partnerships between various species and how they function, and the whole chemistry of the planet is managed by them. But in many people call this as dirt. If that is dirt, you and me are dirt bags. Hello? So, unfortunately, we are treating living things as inanimate things. Even inanimate things need to be treated with respect, but unfortunately, living entities we are treating like this because somebody has put this idea in our head that every other creature is here only to serve the human beings. I have spent lots of time in the jungles of India. I've spent so much time observing all the different creatures, not just the big ones, the small ones, because the crickets, the grasshoppers, the ants, termites, you better know who they are, because you know, I've been in the jungles, I've had close encounters with tigers, I have very close encounters with elephants, and the Indian wild buffalo is terror, but I've been very close around them. After all that, when you come out of the jungle after 2-3 weeks, the only thing you really remember is the insects. Really. You don't know the impact of these things, and what they know, I still not figured this out. They'll be going they'll be going exactly at, especially in the rainforest in the south, exactly at 2:30 in the morning, chuck, they'll stop. Within 30 seconds, another group starts off. They'll go on for hours. Every day, I'm just looking at the watch, exactly at 2:30 in the morning. What are they doing? They know something that you and me have not figured out, all right? I'm saying without a clock, without anything, they know time to the second. How? But they know. As the birds know how to, they got their own GPS, insects got their own time clock. And exactly they know, and if you just observe them, today is going to rain. I am there in the jungle without any equipment, except what I'm wearing, there's nothing else. So, rain is an important part because if it starts raining in these southern Indian jungles, it can rain for 3 days non-stop, okay? So you better find a place where your bones will get wet, it's like that. So if you just observe the insects, they're all preparing for the rain, nothing, no cloud in the sky. But I learn to trust them. If I watch them, I know that it's going to rain means it's going to rain. When they say it, it's true. Meteorologists, the only two professions in the world where you can be wrong 50% of the time is either you're a weatherman or you're an astrologer.
I wanted to ask you, in 1990s, I believe, there was the project Green Hands in India, and I've read a lot about it, and I've heard you talk about it, and I think the audience would really appreciate that story because I love that story, how everything started and how much you guys accomplished and what was the beginning of the situation, how everything came to be, If you would tell that story, that would be great.
See, in 1997 or '8, I'm not very sure about the date, 7 or 8, one of those years, a certain UN agency came to southern India and they said 60% of South India will be desertified. Desertification will happen by 2025. I don't like predictions, because predictions means you're only going by the cold facts, you're not taking into account what's beating in the human heart, what plans we got in our head, all this not considered. So I wanted to see it for myself, so I drove around that state. Then I realized that they were wrong. It is not going to be 2025, it could be much sooner, because 3 perennial rivers had gone completely dry. Many small rivulets and streams had gone dry. And people were… when I first entered that state, they were striking water in the tube wells at 150 to 200 feet. Now they were going 1100 to 1200 feet. And in southern India, there is a certain kind of palm tree. You must eat this, otherwise life hasn't started yet, It is like an ice cube. If you open the palm fruit, it's like an ice cube. It is one of the best things you can eat on a hot summer day. So these palm trees, the crowns were falling off. In traditional language, they've spoken in proverbs, saying when the palm tree's crown falls off, that means you're heading for a disaster. Because the bore wells are going 1100 feet, they're sucking out all the water, the trees are not able to get that. These are resilient trees, that is, they could grow in a desert, There are proper palm trees like date palms, similar kind of palm. It could easily grow in a desert, but crowns were all falling off. Thousands of palm trees I saw, crowns had fallen off. Then I thought what to do. Then I discovered that the green cover in that state was only 16.5%. The national aspiration was 33%. I said the simple thing is, we must make 33% green cover, which will change many things because I don't know if all of you are interested in all these technicalities. See, India is a tropical nation. That means the only source of water is monsoon. Monsoons come down for about 70 to 90 days or 95 days in a year. That water should be held in the soil for 365 days for the rivers to flow. If that has to be held, the soil organic content has to be so rich, there must be vegetation, there must be trees, only then it'll happen. So, this rain that's coming is not percolating because there's no vegetation, everything has become farmlands. It is flowing horizontally instead of sinking in. So every year there are floods and alternating with droughts. Wherever there is a flood, within 3 months there will be a drought. So people were struggling with this. I said, it's very natural. Once there is a flood, there is bound to be a drought. That's how it works, the tropical land. So when I saw this, I said, we need to increase the vegetation. So I started talking to the farmers that 10% of your land, if you make it into vegetation, what are the benefits, how your economy will improve. So it was picking up slowly and then I pulled together about 4,000 to 5,000 volunteers and then I spoke to them, I made them sit in hot sun. Around 11 o'clock in the morning, I was also sitting in the sun. And they all, in southern India, if they want to come and see somebody like me, all the ladies are showered up and nicely powdered up and ready and nicely jeweled and everything and sitting like this, hot sun slowly, they're just sinking. And I'm sure wondering, what's wrong with Sadhguru, why is he burning us up like this? When I saw it had become quite unbearable, then I said, come, and there were 5 big rain trees close by, covering almost an acre of land. I took them under. I said, I said, this is it. See, this is climate change for you. Then I tried to tell them, see, we need to make this 33% green cover. I made a barefoot calculation, if you want to get it to 33%, you need to plant 114 million trees. They said, oh, Sadhguru, do you know what is 114 million? How can anybody plant that many trees? I asked them, what's your population? They said 62 million. I said, each one of you, if you plant 1 tree today, take care of it for 2 years and plant 1 more, you got the number. The problem is, all of us consume, but when it comes to compensatory action, not all of us are participating. This is our problem. All of us are consuming everything, isn't it? One may be more, one may be less, that doesn't matter, but all of us are consuming. So we started this movement, which I made a simple… it is like a spiritual practice where I made them sit there and experience that what you exhale, the trees are inhaling. What the trees exhale, you're inhaling. Once they realized 1/2 of their lungs is hanging out there, oh, now you can't stop them from planting trees, you won't believe. The whole culture changed in the weddings. In southern India, weddings are huge things, like 3,000, 4,000 people are invited for the wedding. Everybody, they will come and eat fully. When they're going, packets of sweets and this and that, fruits and sweets and everything, they will take and go. So we made this culture, when people come to weddings, you give them a sapling. Today it's become a prominent culture in the area. When people come to weddings, the guest will get a sapling. Our volunteers will be standing there, do you have land to plant? No. Then we take it back and say, okay, we will plant it for you. You must come and see, we will tell them where we are planting, you must visit at least once a month to see whether your tree is growing or not. So like this, we created a culture around that. Today, millions of trees have been planted. The green cover went up by 11.2%.
Nice.
And then you clap for too long, there is work to do, keep your hands free, I'll give you some work, okay? So then we translated this project went on and it became a culturally significant process, but I knew that was not enough. We had to make policy changes for the rivers because all rivers across India were depleting seriously. This Kaveri river around which I grew up around this river, and I saw 50 years ago how this river was. Today, only 40% of the river exists. This is the lifeline for southern India, but only 40% of the river is flowing today. The reason is we have removed 84% of the tree cover in the last 70 years. So I said we need to put this back. For this, the policy change was needed. It took about 7.5 to 8 years to make the needed policy changes to make this convenient for farmers to plant their trees. And in these 7.5 years, there were 3 changes of governments. I don't know how governments work here, I have no knowledge about political situation here. But in India, the opposition, 3 governments, 3 different parties came into power. In India, opposition means if you say it's evening, the opposition says, no, it is morning. That is their idea of opposing everything, okay? So, 3 governments changed, that means everything had to be started fresh and relentlessly we went at it, got the necessary policy changes done, and then we wrote a book, a 760-page, river policy as to how Indian rivers should be managed. And I drove from southern tip of India to Himalayas in 29 days. In 29 days, we gathered the support of 162 million people. Just to give you an idea of what was done, 142 events I did in 29 days, and 182 media interviews I did. Over 4,700 impressions on newspapers and magazines happened. Over 8,000 or 7,600 television things happened across the various things. So 162 million people supported this. Once there was that kind of numbers, no government is going to ignore that. So within 3.5 months, it became the official policy. So this became the recommendation policy for all the 28 states. 6 states went proactively implementing it. Other states, normally they wait for a disaster. They act after a disaster happens usually. Because preventing a disaster doesn't get you any medals, do you understand? After disaster happens, if you go and help people, you will get a medal. If you prevent a disaster, everybody is happy. So, that is happening. So then I decided we must manifest it on the ground. So we started what is called as Kaveri Calling. In this one river basin, which accounts for 83,000 square kilometers of land, 5.2 million farmers live and work there. There we started this movement, looking at the success of this, how farmers' incomes went up, nutritional value went up, and organic content went up in the soil, water tables came up. Looking at this, the UN agencies, 4 agencies, here you have them, I think, yeah. UN Environment, World Food Programme,
yeah, they're all
UNCCD and IUCN, all of them partnered because they saw this as the model project, largest model project for the tropical lands in the world. So, looking at the success of this, the government of India made 13 detailed project reports for 13 river basins, exact replicas of Kaveri Calling project. So we've been waiting on that. Just 5 days ago, Government of India announced they are allocating $2.5 billion for these 13 river basins.
Yeah, you reminded me now, I was thinking about a few days ago, it was on television in Croatia, I think it was happening all around Europe. They turned the public lights off for about an hour on the monuments in the big cities and stuff like that. And they were asking people what they think, and then one girl said, well, I mean, it's 1 hour, I mean, why don't we do something more about it? I mean, it's just what does that mean? I know it was supposed to be a symbolic gesture to show something, but lately it's a talk about when you brush your teeth, turn off the water. That's all great, turn off the lights when you're not in a room. But don't we need something more than that? I mean…
Definitely. See, unfortunately, a whole lot of civic issues are being projected as environmental or ecological issues. This needs to change. See, if plastic bags are floating around in Ljubljana, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no plastic bags here floating
No,
around.
I'm saying if they
I know, I'm kidding. I'm like…
if they are floating around, this is a civic issue, this is not an environmental issue. In your town or in your city, what do you call this? It's a city or a town?
City.
City.
A capital city. Okay. If I said that, I would be in big trouble, but you said that, it's fine.
Okay. No, I only asked, I didn't say anything. So, in this city, if… see, the various urban issues like air pollution, you did not brush your teeth for 3 days, so to save water, I meant to say. So, maybe it is good for your water supply system, the load is less. But ecologically, it means nothing, zero. You understand? If you turn on the taps and run all the water to the ground, ecologically it's good, but not good for the city water supply. So do not make urban issues into ecological issues, it's not true. Urban issues are different, they're civic issues, we need to handle them differently. It is very cute of you, you didn't brush your… I'm sorry, you use less water brushing your teeth. Very cute of you, very civic awareness, very nice, good for your city, but not of any significance to ecological issues because ecology is a different aspect. So what needs to happen? See, there are many issues. There is carbon in the atmosphere, CO2, everybody's talking. But one important thing we need to understand is, you breathe in oxygen or carbon? Hello? Oxygen guy, you're oxygen guy. You look lively, you must be oxygen. See, this whole oxygenation of the atmosphere started nearly 1 billion years ago. When you've heard of that cave, these gender things are a real problem now. Is that cave man or cave woman? Is there such a term, cave woman? No. So that cave person.
That's better.
So that caveman or cavewoman, when they first discovered how to cook their food with fire, maybe 10,000, 15,000, 40,000, 50,000 years ago, when somebody figured it out, whoa, it made a huge difference for us, isn't it? Huh? That we could cook our food. Nearly 1 billion years ago, one very smart fungi or an algae, we don't know, there's a confusion just like whether it is a man or a woman, just like that there's a little confusion on that one. They figured out, one of them figured out how to cook food using the perpetual energy of the sun. That is the phenomena that today we call as photosynthesis. So photosynthesis essentially means drawing energy from the sun, working up what? Taking carbon from the atmosphere, making carbon sugars out of it, passing it onto the earth and using it as an exchange process to build a partnership with all the microbial life there. Because they need this carbon sugar, the plant needs these nutrients, so with this the whole life process developed. Because of this photosynthesis, today in the atmosphere, there is 21% oxygen content approximately. Before the photosynthesis, it was just a shade over 1%. Definitely you and me could not be there. All these complex life forms only happened after photosynthesis and the oxygenation of the atmosphere happened. In the last 1,000 years, 1,000 years ago, how much photosynthesis was happening? Today, how much is happening? there is a 85% drop. 85%. So, everybody is talking about carbon dioxide. Why are we not talking about depleting oxygen? That's what our focus should be. If that has to happen, there must be more green on the land. Right now, 71% of the land on the planet is under farming. How do we farm? Right now, I've been riding from London, Netherlands, Germany, Czech, and Austria, and here, all along I'm seeing farmlands. Most of the farmlands don't have any crops right now because this is post-winter, but all lands are plowed and left open. This is the worst thing you can do to the land, that you plow it and leave it open, this life dies, microbial life, because first 15 to 18 inches has enough life, has all the life that manufactures 87% of the life on this planet, including you and me. But today machines are plowing 12 to 14 inches deep and leaving it open like this for months on end is killing it. If you just look back on the history of agriculture, you said, oh, you're still a young man. When I was on the farms, it was common in India, every farmer knew during summer months in India, you had to put cover crops of legumes and pulses, out of which you got nothing much, but the humus went back into the soil. That practice was there everywhere in the world, but today we've become so smart and scientific and senseless that there are no cover crops anywhere, everything is plowed and left open. This is one serious damage we're causing to the land. So the microbial life that is beneath the soil or in the soil is the basis of our life. Who we are right now is a consequence of that life. Even in evolutionary terms, we are a consequence of that life. That is the most sophisticated and complex life. We have manifested out of that. Today, every one of you understand that without the gut microbiome, you cannot even digest the food that you eat. The same is true, the plant cannot get the necessary nutrients from the soil unless the microbes make partnership with each other. Without that partnership, this cannot happen. So this is a very complex partnership, thousands of species of microbes are working, but all of them, the interaction is one's food, what is food for this one is what is somebody's excreta is another species' food, and it goes on like this. Endlessly, the dead bodies of one microbe becomes the food for somebody else. The whole cycle is happening. It is out of that, plants have come up, animals have come up, we have come up. So now, that is what is under threat. This partnership is being ripped open. In the last 40 to 50 years' time, the damage we have caused is such, 52% of the world's topsoil is degenerated. And organic content in these parts of the world, I do not know exactly what is Slovenian thing, but in Germany, Czech Republic and Austria, it is around 1.48%. Here also I assume it's somewhere around that or maybe a shade more than that because you have little more forest in this country. But that is how much it is. But in a temperate climate, you must have minimum 3% to call soil as soil. Right now you're adding enormous amount of fertilizers. To what extent means 32 billion pounds, billion, not million, billion pounds of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer is being used in the world, out of which not even 45 to 50% is absorbed by the plant. Rest of it binds with the minerals and becomes in such a way the phosphorus and the nitrogen, it causes enormous damage because of this nitrogenous material and phosphorus flowing into the waters. It gets into the groundwater and then get into rivers. For example, where Mississippi River joins the Gulf of Mexico, there is a 6,000 square mile dead zone. That means there is water body without any oxygen because of this. All the fertilizer used across the Mississippi belt is coming down the river and it is creating a dead zone like this. Dead zone means none of the life can exist because all oxygen is out of that water. So we are just sabotaging our own lives. Like in India, there is a fable which talks about a man who is sitting in the wrong end of the branch and hacking it. When he succeeds, he will fall. We are that kind of people.
What I love about this initiative is what you've been talking right now about the soil is that unifies a lot of problems that ecology has right now. I mean, the solution is to plant more trees. Our technology, every time I hear that somebody's making a new machine to get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, I'm like, don't we have those machines? I mean, they've been around a couple of million years. I mean, we just need to plant more of those. So this initiative kind of like unifies a lot of ecological problems. Can you talk more about it?
You live in California, generally?
I used to live in California, yeah.
So I planted myself in California for about 25 days as a part of this thing to move certain people. Every other day somebody comes up and says, Sadhguru, my friend has come up with a new app, it'll solve all the problems. See, this is a generation which is technologically juvenile. It's still new, we're just excited about it. We think technology will solve everything. Technology does wonderful things, no question about it. But we must understand, right now I heard that you have food apps, right? Volt. I'm seeing the Volt bags everywhere on the motorcycles. It's spelt wrong though. It's W-O-L-T, they spelt it like that. So the app may get the food to your home, but somewhere somebody has to cook it. App doesn't cook it, all right? Somewhere somebody has to grow the food. App doesn't grow the food. App makes the delivery maybe little better. It's only an application, enhances the application, but doesn't produce anything, it cannot produce anything. So we need to understand this. It doesn't matter what technologies you come up with, whatever you do, there are only two sources of organic material on the planet, or let me say in the whole universe that we know of. There are only two sources: plant material, animal waste and other things. There is simply nothing else. Hello? Yes or no?
Yes.
Plants and animals. Beyond that, there is no organic content anywhere. Right now the problem is on your farms, there are no animals, there are no plants or trees, because all monoculture, commercial agriculture has come in. There are only machines, but machines don't shit. That's the problem. I was always, somebody told me once in India that there is some sage, some saint somewhere. And is it okay I talk some nonsense to you? So I was in a new town and they said there is some saint here, Sadhguru, you must meet him. People say if you go to him, you will get, very fortunate and you will people earned a lot of money because they went to him, things happened, many people found a lot of success. I said, I'm not looking for anything like that and I don't need to see anybody. Then somebody said, this man doesn't shit. Then I said, okay, I want to see this guy. Because if a man doesn't shit, it means he's beyond his physical nature or he's full of shit. So, in the afternoon I drove, it was about 70 kilometers away, so I just drove there to see this guy. Then I go and see this man, he's like emaciated, very small man, like he must be in his 90s probably. He's like totally like just a skeleton with skin and a small beard. and he's just sitting like this in one. You know, in India, because from the time of monarchs, there is this fascination for people to have… I think even in Europe I've seen in many places, we were just in some royal hotel where, you know, the chairs are all this big. No human being can sit on it. Somebody with some large sense of ego thinks he's big and sits there, and you get bloody buried in that chair, you know. It's not made for a human being. You've seen those chairs? The backrest is 5 feet tall. Probably just to give an image in the next generation, our king was, you know, 12 feet tall man he was. Something like that. Anyway, he's sitting on one of those… that kind of chairs. The man is like a sparrow, so small, shrunk like that. And I just saw him from a distance and I just walked around. There was a door, I opened it, and there was a toilet. Then I called one of the ladies who was there and said, "There's a toilet here, they told me the man doesn't shit." He said, "Oh, no, it's not like that, only once in the morning." What do you think, I'm doing it through the day or what? Now, I'm sorry I brought all this Indian shit to you. I heard that you guys are all soaked in honey. Let me tell you my honey story. Can I tell them a honey story?
Yes, please. I'm just like them, I'm listening, I'm enjoying myself. Please, do, go.
So when I was getting lost in the jungles of India, the only food that sustained me largely was honey. I ate other things that I don't want to talk to you about, but largely honey. People always wondered, how do you survive? In any season you go, you manage to stay there for 2-3 weeks and come back, how do you do it? My trick was, normally we were riding a Czech Republic motorcycle at that time, okay? These days everything is sensitive, you know, you can't say anything as it was.
You can say Thomas here.
So we were riding a Java or a SD, so it has a petrol tube. Normally you need 7-8 inches of petrol tube, but I always put extra, about 15-16 inches of petrol tube, because it gets hard, you can keep cutting it and putting it on. The rubber gets hard. And this is also for my honey, so when I park the motorcycle in the forest and cover it up with all branches and stuff, I pull off the petrol tube and put it in my pocket and go. So I climb up the tree and the hill, I don't know what kind of honeybees you have here, I have no experience of this. There we have what is called as black bees. They are this big, about 1.5 inches long, and honey is fantastic in the Western Ghats because the variety of vegetation there is probably like no other in the world. The number of species of plants there is like nothing else in the world. So, I go there and these huge hives, they built it on that kind of branch where the sloth bears cannot get. A sloth bear weighs approximately 70 to 85 kilograms. So, the bees are so smart, they will build it in a place where the bear cannot get to it. Just on that kind of branch, where the bear will not be able to go because the branch will bend. So I'm just around little over 70 kilograms. So I crawl up that, go close to it, stick my pipe into the hive and drink it up. I drink up about 3/4 of a liter of honey, and for the day I'm settled, you know. So I just lived on honey for many weeks, and there are tribes called honey shepherds in India, they're called Jenukuruvas. So I went and lived with them, and they just live on honey. Every day, from morning to evening, just their bamboo glasses about this tall, approximately about 3/4 of a liter it would take, you just drink that, that's the food. And you are so energized, means you don't need anything else for the whole day. You're climbing trees, you're doing all kinds of crazy things, but it takes care of you, 1 liter of honey. So I'm just telling you because I heard honey beekeeping is a big deal here. That's probably one of the smartest things that you've done in your country. It will pay. It will pay in future. Not just with honey, it'll pay in many ways.
I wanted to ask you, so you left London and you've been through all these European countries, so what's the experience so far? How's it been going?
Well, the people of all these cities and countries we've been to, the reception and enthusiasm has been spectacular. And they're all become thousands of Earth Buddies we have created. I think nearly 500,000 Earth Buddies we have now. We want to raise this number. An Earth Buddy means somebody who's committed a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes per day for 100 days. But because you are such fantastic people from this great city of Ljubljana, I'm giving you 9% discount. Only 91 days you have to do it. Do I have Earth Buddies here? Because this is our time on the planet. This is our time. And it's a very brief amount of time, unless you're a miserable person. Yes. Because have you not noticed, on a certain day you were very happy, 24 hours, poof, went away like a moment. Another day you're miserable, 24 hours feels like a eon. Have you experienced both or no? So only miserable people will have a long life. If you're joyful, it just gets over in no time. All right. I just, I feel like I was born the day before yesterday, but look at me.
Is there anything else I've been forgetting about Save Soil campaign that what can everybody here in this audience do, or what we can try to achieve? Do you have anything to add to all of this?
Yes, see, right now we must understand. Everybody says, okay, what can I do? Shall I go and fix my garden? See, you fixing your garden is very cute of you, all right? But it is not a solution. It's very nice, you must do it, it's a wonderful thing to do, but it is not a solution for the world because 71% of the world's land is under till. That's what needs to change if a real difference has to happen. For that to happen, unless it's enshrined in the policy, it will not happen. And even if it happens, next generation can just reverse it, as we have done it. Hello? It has to be in the policy. How in urban land there are building policies, all right? You can only build that much. If you build more, it will be demolished. Yes or no? But if you have 10 acres of land, you can plow every inch of it, and in 10-15 years' time, you can turn it into a desert. Nobody will ask you, why have you done it? Because destroying soil is not considered a crime. But this is the worst crime you can commit because you are eating up the food of the unborn child already. And it's very, very important to understand that soil is not our property. It's a legacy we have received from previous generations. It's our basic responsibility as a generation to pass it on as a living soil for next generation. That is something we must do. For this to happen, minimum 3 to 6% organic content should be there in the soil. That must become the policy in every nation. How do we do it? The nations will have to provide incentives. Right now, we are saying 1.48 is the approximate organic content in these countries. If the government offers an incentive, if a farmer makes it 3%, he will get this much. If he can do it in 2 or 3 years' time. If he makes it 6%, he will get more. Like this, they can set up incentive. Apart from that, you can also brand your products like this, that if your farm is 6% organic content, instead of saying the product is organic, which doesn't mean anything actually, it's just a branding, If you say, my land as a farm has 6% organic content, if that is marked on the product, you can also price it higher and people will buy it because it's coming from a very rich soil. If you raise the organic content in a given land to 8 to 10%, your irrigation requirement will come down to 30% of what you're using right now. If you're using 100 liters of water, you can do the same work with 30 liters of water and you can brush your teeth every day. Hello? If you raise the organic content to 12 to 15%, which will take some time in most lands, if you do that, your irrigation requirement will come down to 10 to 15%. That is, 100 liters will become 15 liters of water. That is saving water. Hello? That is real change. Above all, if that moisture is there in the soil, life will thrive because the microbial life needs organic content and moisture for them to thrive. If organic content is there, moisture is held in the soil. If you go into a forest, any of you, because they say you have a lot of forest, what kind is it? Evergreen, is it? All kinds. Then you have not seen all forest lands in the world. In this latitude, you can't have all kinds of forests. If you have… let's say you have good forests because the bees are doing well, means there must be substantial vegetation. So, if you go into your forest, you don't need any pickaxe, just with your fingers if you dig like this, 3 inches if you go, it will be damp. That means there is enough organic content, that is why water is held there. Even if it doesn't rain for 3 months, still it will be wet. That is how agricultural soil should become. Then you grow food which will nourish you, then you grow food which will be immunity for you for many things. For example, right now, the world has been reeling under this pandemic. I don't know how bad it's been in Slovenia. How bad? Not very. I see only a few of you are wearing masks because yesterday I was in Vienna. Everybody was wearing masks because yesterday the caseload was something like 50,000 per day, so in the country. So they were all wearing… no, it's okay. He's already got it, so what can we do? So, I'm saying, you don't need some expert virologist to tell this to you. Any simple doctor will tell you, if there is not enough vitamin A, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, vitamin C, calcium, iron, folate, magnesium, zinc in the diet that you're eating, you become susceptible to upper respiratory tract infections. This is a well-known fact. Whatever you call this, a pandemic, coronavirus, number 19, 20, 21, whatever you want to call it, you call it what you want. Essentially, it is a respiratory tract infection, all right? If your nutrient value was good, your ability to resist it would be much better. Unfortunately, we've lost over 6 million people across the world. Almost everybody that I know has lost somebody who's dear to them, you know. This is because the nutritional value is very low. I'm not saying there wouldn't be a pandemic if the nutrition was good. Definitely there wouldn't be such a high toll, for sure. And today there is substantial studies to show that mental illnesses in the world and nutritional micronutrient quality in the food that you eat are very directly connected. If you're feeling a little wonky, maybe you're not eating the right kind of food, you know. So, today WHO is talking about mental illness pandemic. See, a pandemic means if one person has it here in this hall, all of us become susceptible, that's a pandemic. When we say mental illness pandemic, that means all of us are susceptible to lose our minds today or tomorrow. That's what it means. Now they're talking about a suicide pandemic. In the year 2020, More people committed suicide in Japan than the number of people who died of the pandemic. So we don't really need the virus, we are pretty good. You know?
I think we should open some questions to come from the audience. I think it's that time, if I'm right. How are we going to do that?
You asked me what they can do.
No, I'm asking technically, is Vid gonna facilitate that or…
No, you can do it.
Ah, there you go. No, he is there. There you go.
Goran, but yeah, basically it's time for questions and hopefully answers. We're gonna pass the microphone around. Somebody that wants to make a question, just raise your hand. And don't wave it, just raise it. You're still doing… Are you on a rave party? What the…
I think she deserves the mic. Look.
Yeah, she made a
All
whole
that
party
energy.
show for us. Where's the microphone? Can we get the microphone, please, to the lady there in the 105th row with the…
Somebody already has the microphone.
Somebody already has the mic. Haha, you didn't get it. But don't worry, we'll get to you as well. Please, what's your name, please?
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. My name is Matit. First of all, I would like to say that it's our honor for having you here in Slovenia. My question is, you've mentioned that trees are a part of preventing the soil to go away. So what can we do about deforestation here in Slovenia? We have a lot of forests, as you know, but they're cutting trees in cities. They're building a lot of residential areas over there. And is there any way that we can approach this problem? Thank you.
See, everybody wants all the comforts and conveniences, but at the same time, we don't want to do certain things. Life doesn't work like that. See, right now, could we have held this meeting under a tree? If it was India, we would have done it, because the weather would permit it. Here we need a hall. Well, how many trees did they cut to build this building? They would have cut something, definitely. Can't help it. We can minimize it, we cannot avoid it. So let's understand this. Let's not always… this is not something to be dealt with emotionally. This needs to be done very pragmatically, otherwise, believe me, if you pit economy and development versus ecology and trees and stuff, ecology will lose. It's very important, we must design it in such a way both of them can thrive together. Otherwise, people will talk ecology but vote for economy. Yes or no? Everywhere in the world, not just here. That's a fact. So, one important thing that I have been doing, when I was at the UN, I told them my work is to officiate the marriage of economy and ecology. Because if these two things don't get together and work together, simply it won't work. For example, in the Kaveri region, we've done this. See, the farmer's income has gone up 300 to 800% in 7 to 8 years. And those of them who've gone for a certain level of trees, once in 12 years when they fell these trees, they're getting about the same money they would get if they sell the land. So every 12 years they can sell the land and still keep the land. It's a good deal, isn't it? You sold the land, but still you have the land with you because they cut the trees and sold it. For this is important that we understand how we balance this. I am not saying just blatantly do wild kind of development, no. But what is needed may have to be done, otherwise people… there is populations to serve, isn't it? Human beings have gotten used to a certain level of comfort and convenience. You can't tell them, go live in the jungle. They won't do that. They will talk about it, they will appreciate it. On the phone screen, they like rainforest. If you leave them in rainforest for 1 week, they don't know what will happen to them. When I lived in the jungles and after 2-3 weeks when I come home, even my mother wouldn't recognize me, head to toe, insect bites, because I slept on the trees and here and there, and I'm bitten head to toe, all right? You can't even recognize me, I would be like that, it'll take 3-4 days to get back my shape of my features back. So, you're not ready for that kind of life. We've gotten used to certain comfort and convenience today, and people are not willing to go back to that kind of life which people lived. You will see, people… even in villages today there is too much comfort, but you will see older, at least in the movies if you see, people are like this because all the time something will be itching if you live in the natural conditions, believe me. You will be bitten head to toe with all kinds of things. You must just get used to it, because you can't avoid them, you don't know where they are. Even today, our center in United States in Tennessee, we are nearly 17 square miles of land or over 20,000 acres. We have committed 70% to conservation. We will keep the forest as it is, 70% of the land, 30% we will build. But if you enter the forest in the summer season, you had it. You had it means you had it. The ticks are waiting up there, they will sense your body temperature and they'll shoot. You won't know where they landed, they will go and embed in the skin. After 2 months, that guy is crawling out of my belly. You know, he's gotten into me when I'm in United States, I'm in India for about 1.5 months. After that, I'm sleeping in the night, something itching and do this something on my stomach. Then I pull out this living guy. He traveled all the way from United States to India with me. They're like that. So, don't romanticize too much. It's very important we handle this pragmatically, the way it is needed for today's life. So, our aspirations need to be modulated in such a way, but at the same time, not against everything that needs to develop in a country. If you oppose, they will beat you down and destroy all the forests. Don't do that. Make forest an attractive place where children can go and, explore. There is a certain love for the land. This must come in the next generation, that they enjoy being there. Otherwise, you can't preserve it for long. I appreciate the emotion behind it, but it needs to be dealt with pragmatically and, we need to make the governments commit. At least a certain amount of forest will never be disturbed. We must make them commit that. But in the city, if you can't do development, then people will complain. They want roads, they want buildings, they want conveniences, they want schools, they want hospitals. Hello? People need all this. Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
I'm sorry, I came this morning, only the books is now at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I must leave,
Please.
and I apologize.
Next question. Where's the mic? Oh.
The right company.
Oh.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Where is you?
Here.
She's right.
I'm Dragana from Serbia, Belgrade. First of all, I want to say how grateful I am for all the people, volunteers, who are doing this job. So thank you so much. So my question is, how to motivate young people to do the movement, how they're motivated to go…
I think you're pretty young, huh?
What do you think? How old I
You're
am?
pretty and young.
Thank you so much. So my question is how to motivate young people to do this movement, how they're motivated to go, for example, to the gym and pull the weights, you know, at least some of them.
They've given me a list of things you could do. One thing is, you follow this journey for on Safe Soil on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Because so this is because all these numbers, how many people say Save Soil in the next 91 days is going to be aggregated. I'm addressing COP15 in Ivory Coast on 9th and 10th of May. 170 nations, their representatives will be there. And UNCCD is the host for the COP. And I'm addressing the whole group. By then, if you have over 3 billion people for me on these various, platforms, it's a done thing. Woo! So, one thing is, share the SaveSoil.org website with as many people as you can, especially the 6-7 minute video is there, which I think they played in the beginning. You can share that with as many people as possible. Don't limit this to Slovenia, Croatia and other things. This has to be global, because when it comes to ecology and soil, national boundaries mean nothing. Only we human beings have this problem, that we cut up the planet into different pieces and say, this is mine and that is yours, and every day we are fighting about it, non-stop. If we have no piece of land to fight about, we will fight about our skin color, or we'll fight about some nonsense that we believe in. Race, religion, nationality has taken enough lives. So this has happened because we are continuously focusing on what is the differences between us. We are aiming at what are differences between us. All kinds of things. Hair color, they're fighting. Can you beat it? Anybody can change the damn hair color anytime these days. But on that, some people are fighting. There are groups of people in America fighting constantly on the social media. My hair color versus yours. You can go to a salon and change the damn hair color tomorrow morning. But about that, they're fighting. So I'm saying we are always looking at what is different about us. We need to look for common factors, the common denominator for all of us. If you don't understand what is the unifying cosmic consciousness, if you don't know where the hell that is, at least you understand our very bodies have come from this soil, we nourish ourselves from this soil, at least when we are dead, we go back to this soil. The question is only… the question is only whether you get it now or you will get it when you're buried. That's the only question. You'll anyway get it one day. But if you get it now, we can make a difference. So let us look at the common factors that unify us. I don't want this… it's under the umbrella of Conscious Planet. So we are not going to stop with ecology. Once the necessary policy changes are achieved, which I'm confident in the next 18 to 24 months, in most nations it will happen. It's just that we want to give confidence for the governments that the people are with you, otherwise they will hesitate and drag their feet about it. Why I'm saying this is, even in COP26, they did not address soil at all. Simply because they're afraid whether people will come with them or not. So you have to show that people are with you. If you do this, we are with you. If you give that confidence, democratically elected nations will move forward. I want you to understand, I know everybody has commentary about political leaders in the world, but I want you to understand this. If you had a profession where you are in the top job and tomorrow morning if you lose your election today, tomorrow morning you are nothing. If you had a job like that, you would also do a few crazy things. Yes or no? So let's understand the problem that is there. Without people's mandate, they will not move. So this is what needs to happen. 3 to 4 billion people have to speak. They don't have to support me. Your youth friends who are pulling weights, they don't have to support me. They just have to say something about soil for these 90 days. If you do this, getting the policy done is very much possible. We have made these policy documents for each nation separately. We'll be offering the policy document to your leadership here and all the 192 countries, we have made separate documents for every one of them. It will be offered to every nation. More than anything, we will push it through the UN and it will go through. It is just that if it has… pace is important, at what speed it happens in given country. That speed can be achieved only if people speak. Otherwise, governments will make the policy and still hesitate to invest money on that. People should give the confidence, if you invest money for the well-being of the future generations, we are with you. You need to say that. See, right now, if you have a child, how many of you have children of your own? If you spend on your child, something that you could buy doesn't happen, isn't it so? This is the economy of the family. Hello? To put the child in a good school, you will forego something. Instead of buying a fancy car, you put the child in a university. Have you not done this, every one of you? Hello? One way or the other? So this is the way it is. If a nation invests in future generations, we may have to forego something. You have to give this confidence to the government that if you invest in long-term well-being of our nation, we are with you. This is all I'm asking. Save soil means just this. You are giving confidence to democratically elected leaders that if they invest long-term, you are with them. If they don't invest everything that they have within these 4 or 5 years that they are ruling, you will dismantle them. This is the threat always from the populations. Yes, in every country, this is the problem. So give them that confidence. We will see that it happens. And also the Save Soil song, la la lay 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 lay. Make it reverberate across the country. This should become your mantra for the next 90 days at least. You can download this from this thing, there is a QR code, you can download that. And in India, the Isha homeschool children took up this commitment that they will inspire 10 million children across the country to write a letter to the Prime Minister. You, for your population, at least 100, 200,000 children, if they write to your Prime Minister, you think they will ignore this? They cannot ignore this, I'm telling you. And every one of you, whatever you drive, whether you drive a two-wheel vehicle or a four-wheel vehicle, at least have one little Save Soil sticker. If you don't have any vehicle, stick it somewhere, huh? Hello. Carry the message, it's important that you must understand this is not my planet, it's our planet. Hello?
We have one more question here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I'm Namrata, and I'm Ambassador of India to Slovenia. Thank you very much. All these claps are for you. Am I allowed to not just ask question, but share a small observation?
Yes, ma'am, Your Excellency.
So, thank you so much, Sadhguruji, for sharing the differences between wood and forest. That's very important. And in the same line, I want to share something today that happened earlier in the day. And somebody told me that I don't understand the word soil here because I understand it as land. So there's a problem in understanding. And so I just shared what you shared with us just now, and I said probably land is something with borders, but soil is borderless. So probably we have to really accept the fact that we need to change our perceptions, change our narratives, which is what the movement is talking about. And with this small sharing, I just want to extend my heartfelt thanks to you, Sadhguruji, for coming up, taking up such an important cause, sharing with the world, and sharing the strengths of India. You are our ambassador. I'm ambassador to Slovenia, but you're ambassador to the whole world. India's ambassador to the whole world. And sharing our strengths. And our biggest strength is to accept our weaknesses also. Which Sadhguruji, with so simplistically, first of all, he's taking the cause of soil from the complicated research textbooks and making it simplistic. That is what we need today. And simplistically, he also shared shitty things about India. One instance of shitty thing about India, but that is about accepting our weaknesses, making them strength, and sharing our strength with the people. And you gave so many solutions from India about the Kaveri River, about the green cover, about the recent announcement of so many billions of dollars that Government of India has just shared for this cause. And lastly now, after having thanked Sadhguruji, I want to thank Slovenia. Thank you, Slovenia. Thank you, loving people of Slovenia. And here today, there are not just people from Slovenia, but also people from the neighboring countries. So thank you all for joining this cause. And from Slovenia, you carry the promise. I promise, because like you mentioned, this is one country which went to the UN to declare the World Bee Day. You spoke about the insects, you spoke about the bees, and we spoke about the soil. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That unfortunately was the last question / observation. We would like to thank our honorable guests, Goran Višnjić, and of course Sadhguru, for being here, for sharing their thoughts and observations and perspectives. Before you go, I have a gift from you, from the Slovenian volunteers. We've heard that you like frisbee. I like to play frisbee. So this is sort of a...
That's too floppy, huh? Can somebody catch it, huh?
Wonderful. Now throw it back, please. Don't hit the cameras. There you go. You got it, man. Nice. So close. Thank you so much. So the frisbee works, even though it's a bit floppy.
It's a bit floppy, it's not a… Oh, I always carry a frisbee with me, I didn't know you guys like to play this.
Oh, somebody brought butter on their hands. We go, here we go, one more.
This is fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, my body, your body, everybody is soil body. So let's all get together to make it happen. Beyond race, religion, gender, and geography, soil is the unifier. The Save Soil movement is a global effort to save our planet's soil from extinction. My body, your body, everybody is? Nice. It's like we rehearsed it. Now here's presenting you the Soil Song, which has created soil waves across the world. A dance for Earth. Let's talk soil, sing soil, breathe soil, and live soil. Please, let's hear the anthem.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. This very body is soil. My body, your body, everybody is just soil body. The magic of soil is it turns death into life. Depleted soils will not quench the fire of hunger. Unquenched hunger can burn the very world. This is a generational responsibility. Save soil. Let's make it happen. Next 91 days, you got to stay with me, huh? As soon as I leave your city, don't forget this. This is not about me, this is not about this journey. This is our commitment to our own lives and the lives that are yet to come. We owe this responsibility to them, and it is very much within our grasp to make this happen. I'm not asking you to go and turn the soil around. All I'm asking is raise your voices, because your vote and your voice are the most important things in a democratic society. Vote, you do what you want, that's your political stuff. Your voice must rise. The whole world should hear. This many people here, nearly 1,700 people, I guess. 1,700 people with the gadgets that you have in your hand, instead of selling silly messages on a smartphone, if you use this smartphone properly, just you, this 1,700 people can move 3 to 4 billion people. What do you think? Possible? Now, let's make it happen, let's make it happen.